Hey everyone, Piece of Casual Gaming Dad here. Happy Friday. And I'm back with a Grim Dawn Reign of Terror mod 0.7 Hammerdin build guide. Now I know that this is likely something that people have been waiting for since the new update, and I'm happy to oblige. I wanted to take just a little bit of time to make sure that I fine-tuned it well enough to where I could consider it Hell mode viable for Act 6 and beyond. Okay. And the good news is that it's definitely viable. So we're there with that. And, I've tested it a bit, and it has its pros and cons compared to other builds, such as my Fist of the Heavens guide. But without further ado, I'm going to get right into it because I don't want to spend the same amount of time that I spent on my Fist of the Heavens build guide, which kind of dragged on just a bit. If you like what you see in this type of content that I'm doing, please leave a like and consider subscribing. It helps me out and motivates me to want to put more time into creating these types of, or this type of content for all of you. So with that being said, let's get into it. Some good news that goes along with this build is that because it's magic damage, there's a lot of similarities with my Fist of the Heavens build guide. You'll see that I use pretty much the identical setup in terms of gear because a lot of that, again, overlaps because you're looking for plus to skills and magic damage, and Fist of the Heavens uses both lightning and magic damage, okay? But I'm going to start off first with the most important thing, and that is the skills. Okay. So we're going to start with that. Of course, this is a Paladin Barbarian build. It is not required for you to use the Barbarian piece as a secondary class, but I will say that there are ways for us to boost our damage using the Barbarian, but I did choose Barbarian, much like I chose for my Fist of the Heavens build, mainly because I just like the utility that the Barbarian class offered. Okay. So let's go over the mandatory skills, and then I'll tell you where you have points of flexibility. And the good news is there's lots of flexibility with this build. Okay, so what's required? Well, of course, we're going to max out Blessed Hammer. This is our main damage dealer. This is, for the most part, our only damage dealer. So we're going to be obviously maxing this out. This is a great skill to put a Celestial Power involved into. In this case, I chose Arcane Bomb. I use the same thing with Fist of the Heavens because it has the capability to reduce enemy resistances to both lightning and magic. So that magic resistance reduction is significant when we're talking about doing more damage to our enemies. Okay. For utility, we're always going to take charge with any Paladin build. Just 1 point is necessary, just because it offers us some really great movement. Okay. We're also going to max out Holy Shield. Holy Shield is going to offer us some defense, some flat defense, percent defense, shield recovery, armor, block chance, a little bit of retaliation damage in the form of physical retaliation. It's pretty insignificant. It's not going to matter in higher difficulties. But most importantly for this build, it also offers percent to all damage. So it's the whole package. You got to get this. Okay, it's going to make you more durable. It's going to make you do more damage. Okay. Next, we're going to max out Concentration. Why Concentration? Concentration adds to both all damage and magic damage. So multiplically, it adds quite a bit. It adds to attack rating and cast speed. Cast speed equates to more damage, of course. Plus, it gives us the ability to not be interrupted when we're doing our hammers, right? Being interrupted stops your DPS, okay? Now, it should be noted that there are some creatures in the game that still can stun you briefly, so actually just give me just 1 sec. I just realized that we're dropping frames a little bit. Okay, that should be better now after that. Okay, so make sure you max out Concentration and not Fanaticism. Fanaticism adds, you'll look closely, it's physical, pierce, internal trauma, bleeding, percent damage. It is not all damage, and this is certainly not magic damage, so you must use Concentration. Plus the cast speed is a must. Okay. Next up, we want to max out Sanctuary. Just like with Fist of the Heavens, Sanctuary offers us a lot of utility in that it gives us more magic damage. It also increases our damage to both undead and demons. It gives us some physical damage conversion to magic, so it adds to more magic damage from anything that's added on your gear and whatnot that's physical. So it's also great. And it also makes us take less damage from undead and demons, in addition to giving us maximum magic resist. So max resist is great. Max resist is always great. You want to go as much over at 75 as you can as possible. Every percent counts, which is why you'll see up here why we have a point in each of these, but that's utility. Okay? That's it for the requirements for you to be able to DPS. Okay, now I'm going to show you some other things that I decided to max out as well, given the quite a bit of flexibility I have. You'll see that with both classes that I've maxed out the class itself, because you get stats, you get life, you get mana. You want to max those out. As long as you're high level enough, you max them out. It also gives you access to the skills here at the end of the pool, but regardless, you should have enough points at high level to max these out. Okay. For the Paladin, I decided to max out Redemption. Now, this is my first time trying out max Redemption. Normally, I just put a point or several points into it. I really like it because the higher the level is, the higher the percentage in which of your health in which it activates. So in this case, it's level 33. It activates when my health drops below 48%. If you put just a few points into it, you're going to have to be much lower in health for it to activate. And in this case, the higher percent it is, the more it's going to help me, okay? Because it's going to activate sooner, okay? You'll see that it has a 17.1 second skill recharge, and it lasts 10 seconds. So I have about 7.1 seconds where it's down and it's not able to activate. But what's great, it's kind of like a small mini potion. It gives me a percent of my health as well as a flat amount, and it reduces my damage from undead and demons. It gives me some health regeneration and some mana regeneration, increases my mana regen, and retaliation damage, which is not significant to this build at all. But overall, it helps with sustain so that you don't take these massive hits and you just get blown down really fast. Okay. I also put 1 point into resist cold, resist fire, and resist lightning, just because it gives us a little bit of resistance to each, which I'm already maxed out for the most part. It's not really an issue, but really the max resist is where it's at. So that's the reason why I picked that. I may even consider adding more points to these in order to decrease maximum resistance if I feel that that's more beneficial. Maybe take a few points away from here, put it here, or if I get a level, maybe I'll consider putting a point in each here, right? If I can get 1% more. 1% is a big deal. When you're taking thousands, tens of thousands of damage, percentages add up. So you want to be as high as we can get. On to the Barbarian. Something interesting to note that I didn't mention, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't notice because this is a change that they made, but I was looking for skills because I had so many points. The different masteries now have different types of damage they add to. And I really like that they did this. I didn't notice it until I went and I hovered over Scepter Mastery and Spear. So I noticed with Spear Mastery that it adds lightning damage. This is likely for people who are specializing in skills like with the Amazon, and they're doing like the Javazon, and you're going to be using a spear, so it adds lightning and poison, right? So that makes sense. With Scepters, we have magic and elemental damage. This changes quite a bit because this means that when I transition back to Fist of the Heavens, that I'm definitely going to want to put some points here. Absolutely. Minimum 1, probably want to max this out. This is probably going to be more meaningful than any of these other things here. It'll definitely reduce my points probably allocated in Redemption because I'm going to want more damage, and I'm gonna have to look at my skills and maybe take a little bit away even from health in order to add this. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but magic, chaos, elemental, and attack rating. In this case, it adds magic damage, so that's relevant here. I have a point in Shout just because it's just a flat defense increase. It's percentage, so it scales. If I had an infinite number of points, obviously I would max this out. It'd be worthwhile, but I don't, so I got to be a little more choosy, and that's fine. Battle orders, definitely max out. Flat health, flat mana, percent, constitution. Right. Easy, no brainer. Battle command, also excellent because it gives us plus to skills. Once I use all my buffs, you'll see that it goes up to +3. Plus it gives us strength and intel. This is a no-brainer. That's health, damage for our intel, in this case, because we're using hammers, right? So spells are going to do more damage with intelligence, okay? I only have 1 point in natural resist. Similar to my Fist of the Heavens build, I ended up changing this because I realized I was way over. And if we go here and take a look, it tells me that I'm still 50% over fire. I'm 84% over cold. I'm 102% over lightning. And poison and acid, I'm actually just at 77, so I'm not even capped, you know? But most of these, look, 31%, 53%, 75% magic, 77% for vitality, and my bleeding's kind of low, but that's the most insignificant one. So it's not necessary. It just isn't. So I only have 1 point here. But if you have extra points, you can certainly take away from other areas and put them here if you need to. I also put a point in increased speed for total speed. Total speed adds to both movement, attack, and cast speed. Adds to all types. So it's definitely beneficial. It's worth having at least a point. I max out increased stamina for the health. The stun duration is sort of somewhat relevant, but not that relevant. And then, so I had 8 extra points after doing everything, and I decided to put it in Iron Skin, simply because Iron Skin not only gives armor, but it has a 50% chance of giving you additional physical resistance. Physical damage is probably the damage that we take the most from, so the fact that I have a 50% chance of getting increased resistance is a pretty significant bit. So that's just flat damage reduction from physical damage. So I opted to put my extra points here. So we don't need Berserk. Berserk doesn't make sense anymore for this build because unlike Fist of the Heavens where you can stop and take a shot and 2 shots in between your Berserks, we're going to be sitting there casting hammers. We don't want to stop to have to swing and then cast a few. It's just not worth it. You're much better off just sitting there throwing hammers out rather than taking the extra damage boost from here. So that's it for the skills. Again, there's a lot of flexibility in this build, which is what's really nice. You can certainly not be the barb. You can choose something else with more utility or something with more DPS. In this case, the only DPS gains we're getting is going to be from Scepter Mastery, as well as Battle Command, technically, because of plus to skills. On to the Devotions. The Devotions are going to be pretty much the same. There's a little bit of flexibility here. Like with here, for example, this is lightning and cold. I mean, I went here just for the lightning damage. That's not relevant. But if you take a look, I'm going to type in percent magic damage. If you look here, everywhere where there's magic damage, we already have because we were either filling in points for constellation bonuses or there's a lot of overlap with elemental and magic. And sometimes lightning. So we already have all those areas, you know. And so you'll see here it's definitely the same. And I encourage you to, so this is definitely not fully optimized. I encourage you to, you know, use this search tool to be able to help you so you know what to look for. So, you know, if I wanted to do, for example, percent elemental damage, well then here I can see all the different places and I can see there's lots of areas where I did not get points in, you know. So elemental will be good for a class that's using more than one element like lightning and cold, fire and lightning, etc., etc. Magic is going to be separate from elemental, of course. So elemental is going to be great for that. It also benefits single ones too. In this case, I have, since I'm high level, I had enough devotion points. I'm not even maxed out. I have 86 out of 99, but I had enough to where I ran out of places for lightning damage in Fist of the Heavens and magic, so I was just looking for more elemental. So I do have some of those, you see. So I do have some of those areas with elemental, and sometimes they overlap. which is great, which worked out great. So this is what I've used here. We have the spear. Of course, you start inward. I started here with red and yellow, and some of these are just for health and utility. This one being the most notable requires a shield. It gives me increased block chance, as well as shield damage blocked. So the percentages are significant, and shield recovery. So lots of shield damage blocked. Since we're using a shield, that's pretty beneficial. So there's lots of flexibility here. What I will say is while it definitely increases your damage and defenses, it's not a make or break situation. So much like compared to skills, which make a greater difference in your performance, I will say. Okay, so that's it for the skills. We'll see here that I'm using a lot of similar items. Of course, not everything's optimized. I didn't make any changes here. So like on here, I have a perfect topaz. Obviously, you don't use a topaz. You would use magic damage, or you can also use, let's see, where do I have them? You can also use facets. Let's see, I have 2 physicals, I have a cold. Yeah, I don't have any magic damage ones. So facets are obviously fantastic. Another thing I would consider using are these. They look like these. They're red. There's different seals. The seal of corruption here, for example, it's used in weapons, shield, and caster offhands, and it gives lightning damage, magic damage, and then it has conversion to magic. So seals are excellent for It's the Heavens, for hammers, right? I'm using a Mal rune for a crushing blow. It's pretty good for reducing enemy health. It scales really high. A gold rune I had for attack rating, just because, believe it or not, with hammers, for my testing, it feels like they can miss. So it's which kind of bugs me a little bit, and that's initially why I put the gold rune in here. It's certainly not necessary if you have other ways to increase that. For your relic, you're going to want one. Well, this one's not bad, but it's certainly not the best. I honestly haven't really taken it seriously. I probably should at some point or another. And really, that's it. Your follower, I'd recommend. I like the Templar. Just because the Templar is pretty tanky, it can taunt, has a little bit of a heal, and the offensive one, the Law of Valor, gives you increased critical damage, attack rating, and all damage. So I do like that. If you're not a barbarian, you can consider the barbarian in Act 5. There's also a few different new ones in Act 6 that, like this one is a sorcerer. It has a number of different skills, including heal, holy bolt, fire. So it does a lot of elemental damage. Hydras. It's pretty interesting. I haven't tested these ones yet. Let me see where the others. I have. This is a warrior, and it has a heal and a stone curse, and they scale with player damage bonuses. So that one could be interesting. And then, I found another one of the same Jareth. So I think there's one or two more. I don't think I found all of them. They're in random places in Act 6. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You're really just going for just as high a damage as possible while being durable enough to where you don't get one or two shotted, right? Now, so I did test this. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So let's do all our buffs. So our shouts, our auras, okay, our sage from Heart of the Oak, which Heart of the Oak is an excellent choice for this build. We used all of that. Let me just make sure I got everything cast. Yes, I do. So let's go to Act 6. Let's go to floor 12, right? Pretty deep, but not. Actually, you know what? Let's take it all the way. Let's go to 16. 16 is crazy with monster density. This is the place that you want to go. So we cast our Sanctuary. So what you'll notice is that it doesn't do as much damage single target, but it does wear them down, and you can also, cast hammers, move, cast hammers, move. And you'll see as they run around and they run into it, and it covers a much wider array. So for farming EXP, it's probably better than Fist of Heavens. Now, for killing bosses, we have a clear winner. Fist of Heavens is going to be a clear winner. But you can see here that I'm killing them. They're going down, they're dying, and this is Act 6 Hell mode. You can see up there, So that's really all that matters at the end of the day, right? And if you're watching my health, you can see that I'm taking damage, right? If you look closely right there, I'm taking a little bit of damage, but because I'm just constantly casting hammers with my life leech, right? It is working really well. And you know what's another pro to this build is that mana is a non-existent issue, non-existent problem. Whereas with Fist of Heavens, it's a little bit more costly of a skill. It's not an issue, but using Stones of Jordan along with, ectoplasms for increased mana, it's a little bit more important. You still want a good amount of mana. You don't want to be having to use potions all the time. So that leaves you more flexibility for little customization options and flexibility with your augments. You don't have to worry so much about mana. You can use different rings. There's different rings with plus to skills. There's Volcathos. You can use that for more sustain. There's 2 Volcathos now, as a matter of fact. I found, we know of one of them, right? So honestly, I'm impressed. I really am. I think that this is super viable. I will probably give it a try using it just to farm EXP for a bit. And when I want to go and do boss runs, or, when I'm doing the Trial of the Ancients, I will probably opt for Fist of the Heavens. Especially now that I feel I can optimize the damage a little bit better with Scepter Mastery. So, yeah, I think both builds have their pros. This one is a fan favorite, myself being one of them. And it's a lot simpler because I don't have to I don't have to worry about Berserk, and Berserk makes me a little bit more vulnerable as well. I don't have to worry about that. I just right-click, cast Sanctuary, and I just move myself with charge. If I feel I'm taking too much damage, reposition myself, and so on and so forth. Who doesn't like throwing out hammers? And don't get me wrong, it can definitely take bosses down. It'll just take a little bit longer than the Fist of Heavens, because Fist of Heavens is just really strong single target. You get multiple bolts down. You're doing big crits, and just dropping it down on them. So it's definitely better single target, but I think most people probably would have a lot of fun with this build, as do I. So, that's pretty much it, I hope that this is helpful for all of you, and I hope that it encourages you to give this build a try. Seriously, look at how well I'm being sustained here. This build feels more durable to me. Look at this. I barely take. Well, actually, you know what? Let's go find an elite. Let's really test that theory before I end the video. Let's go find an elite, because elites do significantly more damage. So let's see how well we can sustain against an elite pack, and then that'll be the true test. Seriously though, this is way better at farming. I don't have to worry about aiming my shots. I feel like it's a little bit more brain dead. Just, repositioning, casting the hammers. And you want to be repositioning anyways, because with hammers, what I've noticed is that sometimes when you're just sitting there casting them, just the way that they come out and the angle at which monsters are at and their hitbox, if you will, sometimes it misses them. So you actually want to be repositioning like this, kind of, where you just move a bit and cast, and then that way they have to run through them. Okay, seriously, where's an elite? Come on. I haven't found a single elite yet. Come on now. Seriously though, look at this. Look at this. Look at all these guys around me. And I'm having no trouble. My health is not moving. I mean, it is, but I'm regenerating it so quickly that it's essentially not moving. Okay, come on now. Okay, this is getting annoying now. Where is an elite? So this is why we need charge, right? Help us move around a little more quickly, otherwise I would just be running through all these guys. Come on. Alright, you know what? Let's go looking here. Dear Lord, look at this. Seriously, look at this. You know. Now I'm starting to see why my video took so long last time, because I was doing this. But this is doing pretty well. This is doing pretty well, honestly. It really is, you know. Better than I expected. I didn't expect the defense to be so good. It's surprisingly very durable. Let me see something. You know, and I still have, you know, my defense is not that great, so I still have a pretty much 100% chance to get hit, and yet I'm able to sustain so well. I'm able to block so much and recover from those blocks. Okay, come on now. There's not even a single... Okay, there we go. Where's the elite? Let's see. Okay, this is the true test. I'm going to play it brave. I'm going to hold still for a bit. See if I can take the... Okay, I'm seeing my health. Okay, I'm seeing my health take a little bit of a hit there. Okay, so you see this elite's definitely a bit harder to take down. Okay, you see that now they did something to me because I've taken damage and I'm not able... Okay, there we go. Sometimes there's some abilities where I'm not able to heal. See, like right now, it's only just regular regeneration from redemption versus... Okay, there, now it came back a bit. Something weird they're doing to me. You see how much harder it is? Look. So Fist is definitely better for elites. I can just... Even though I don't have as good a sustain, I can just... I'll charge around, and then when I get a good shot in, just take one or two good shots, and then boom, they're dead, you know? Whereas now, it's taking me so long to take this guy out. I'm worried he's going to heal. It's always scary. It's always scary. Oh, Doombringer. Ooh. It's always scary because elites sometimes just heal out of nowhere. Something else heals them and whatnot. Doombringer. And it's trash. Okay. I think we get the picture here. We did pretty well. Let's go back to Act 5. And overall, I'm definitely happy with it. I think it's excellent for farming, and I'd highly recommend it, giving it a try. And, you know, the last thing I'll say is if you guys have questions about some ideas or you want to bounce ideas off me, then feel free to leave a comment, and I'll do my best to get back to you in a timely fashion, you know. But otherwise, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time for some more Grim Dawn. Bye-bye.